life as a student, as a teacher, as well as a believer of homeopathy. But after that, I saw very few people that who devoted his life for the cause of development of the homeopathy by doing practice, not by organizing seminar and not by delivering big talk in the seminars in the form of producing slides and presentation. But what I saw personally, Dr. Basu, that he's doing very good thing for the clinical orientation of the students and clinical practice. He's a good teacher. You can say he's the one of the living teacher in Maitreya Medica. Can be compared with the Dr. Dubey and so many at the present young Dubey. And so Dr. Basu, really I appreciate you that in spite of your schedule and practice, clinical practice and teaching in involvement in the BHA, that is the Bengal Homeopathy Academy, you have given time to us. So please you go through your lecture and deliver and try to attract us. And so many foreign people are joined here today and they want to listen you. So please go through your lecture.
First of all, I pay my gratitude and thanks to the organizer for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to pay my tributes to our master on the auspicious day of his birthday. At the outset, I would like to pay my regards and thanks to Professor Dr. Akileshkan for giving me the opportunity to share my experience before the learned gathering, rather the learned homeopathic fraternity throughout the world. First of all, I would like to say one thing. Throughout the year, we are doing homeopathic practice. Throughout the year, we are learning some homeopathy from different books. May I request all homeopathic fraternity, all of my beloved students and my colleagues, at least on 10th April, we must go through one letter, at least one letter from Hahnemann's writing. Actually, from any person's letters, we get the original essence of his thoughts and flow of thinkings. So I am requesting all of you, we may pay our tributes every year to our master, at least going through one letter from his original life and works or later writings. My today's topic is Hahnemann's perception on epidemic disease with special reference to COVID-19. We all know for last few weeks and months, we are very much aware and very much anxious, rather some become panicky out of the second and third wave coming from COVID-19 due to mutation of the virus. But it is hope for the homeopath. Whatever mutation takes place in virus, whatever mutation takes place in bacteria, it matters little for homeopathic practice. It matters a lot for prevention. It matters a lot for health and hygiene purpose. But it matters little for homeopathic therapy and homeopathic mode of treatment. Each single epidemic is of a peculiar, uniform character, common to all the individuals attacked, and when this character is found in the totality of the symptoms to common to all, it guides us to the discovery of the homeopathic specific remedy suitable for all the cases. Universally serviceable to those patients who enjoy tolerable health before the occurrence of the epidemic. That is very important. For about last 1 year, especially India and Asian subcontinent, most of the people that took arsenic album in different doses as advised by our Department of Ayush Government of India. But despite of taking arsenic album in proper dose and proper repetition, some patients are also got infected from COVID-19. Hahnemann clearly wrote in his organon, universally serviceable to those patients who enjoyed tolerable health before the occurrence of the epidemic. That is to say, who were not chronic sufferers from developed SORA. That is the thing we should consider whenever we are tackling COVID patients. Whenever we are taking COVID patient, what will be our approach? That is the examination of the patient. Before selection of remedy for any given case, we must ascertain the particular symptom of which the patient complains. The symptom occurring before and during chill, before and during heat, before and during sweat, and during apyrexia. The time of occurrence of paroxysm, the parts of the body in which chill first makes its appearance, as well as the constitutional elements aroused by the fever are all to be carefully covered. It is impossible to examine a patient in general and prescribe him for him in particular. So to prevent it, the genus epidemicus, the common terminology, you know all homeopaths, selection is not easy. As disease itself manifesting in different manner, mild, severe, critical, depending upon the age of the patient, depending upon the individual innate immune response. In response to the viral infection, death occurs due to cytokinin storm syndrome, in consequences of which ravages healthy lung tissue and fulminant myocarditis. Presenting symptoms from different individuals in different countries are also varying. So to make a totality of the common symptom of COVID-19 is difficult. But to avoid cytokinin storm syndrome and to maintain innate immunity along with definite prevention, anti-miasmatic constitutional treatment would be more helpful. So for non-chronic patient, anti-miasmatic constitutional treatment will be the line of choice as homeopathic prevention therapy, apart from Ayush advisory which may be followed. Virtually, to conclude about genus epidemicus, a good number of patients are to be treated by a skilled homeopathic physician, unprejudicedly. As an outcome of this operational procedure, a medicine will come and recorded, acted best as curative, and that remedy will be the genus epidemicus of the pandemic under consideration. Though COVID-19 is now declared as pandemic disease, preventive approach is to be exercised, especially from genus epidemicus point of view. Still, as per clinical manifestation and ultimate pathological finding, COVID-19 is not identical for each one. It varies from nation to nation, race to race, and from individual to individual. In this point, I would like to once again share with you, whatever mutation takes place in the virus, depending upon the mutation, what varies, the manifestation varies. We, the homeopath, we are not very much concerned about the organism which is caused the disease. We are very much concerned about the manifestation caused by the organism. Regarding preventive part, regarding health and hygiene part, we must consider the mutation and all those things, whatever they are telling. But regarding treatment, regarding prevention, regarding selection of genus of the remedy, we should be very much concerned about the manifestation, what the patient is complaining. So during wave 2, during wave 3, whatever may be the situation, if the homeopathic physician clearly perceives what is to be taken under consideration for treatment of COVID-19, there will be no danger for treating COVID patients. Clinical manifestation may vary due to genetic mutation of the virus, different strains, but at the same time, the immune response of the victim plays a major role for development of the disease. So from all aspects, while treating the individual patient, individualistic approach of treatment procedure is to be adopted. But despite of all, despite of taking arsenic album in proper dose and prescribed dose, few patients, they are getting infected. Why? The selected remedy may fail. It must always be the soric miasm in the background. In those cases, so-called homeopathic specific may fail. Universally serviceable to those patients who enjoy tolerable health before the occurrence of the epidemic, that is to say, who are not chronic sufferer from developed SORA. When selected remedy may fail, If, however, in such epidemic intermittent fever, the fast paroxysm have been left uncured, first condition. In such epidemic intermittent fever, the fast paroxysm have been left uncured, or if the patient have been weakened by improper allopathic treatment, then the inherent SORA that exists in a latent state become developed and takes on the type of the epidemic fever, and to all appearances continues to play the part of the epidemic fever, so that the medicine which would have been useful is now no longer suitable and cannot be any service. So what is the way out? We have to do with SORA on the point of development, that in this case antisoric medicine alone can effect radical cure. Hahnemann stated clearly in his Organon of Medicine, aphorism number 242. We have now to do with soric intermittent fever only, and this will generally be subdued by minute and rarely repeated. I am repeating once again, minute and rarely repeated doses of sulfur and hypersulfin hypotency. I will illustrate before you few cases how this antisoric medicine can be helpful during the course of treatment. Certainly, depending upon the common symptom of the disease, a group of medicine are being listed as an outcome of the repertorization. No, it is absolute part from those enlisted medicine, any other medicine may be effective. So in every case, along with common symptom of the disease, individualizing characteristic signs and symptoms, modalities, concomitants, if any, would be considered as the key points in terms of acute totality to select the curative remedy. Till date, no data is available for curing COVID-19 or homeopathic medicine with a particular homeopathic medicine. But according to morbid phenomena of the disease and individualized uncommon peculiar sign and symptoms, modality and concomitant may be indicated according to similarity and presenting manifestation. Especially in mild cases, no victim may generally develop symptoms like fever, dry cough, sore throat, loss of smell and taste, and head and body aches named as mild stage. Homeopathic medicine may be recommended for non-pneumonia and mild pneumonia safely, and about 80% cases will recover. I am once again repeating, in mild cases, in non-pneumotic cases, about 80% cases will be recovered in domiciliary care with homeopathic treatment. In this stage, correct homeopathic intervention may easily avoid the severity and easily cure the patient. And for this reason, for last about 8 months, 8 or 9 months with COVID patients, what is my experience, I am happy to share you. Only few medicines are very much effective. Among them, arsenic album, bryonia, pulsatilla, gelsemium, rastox, dalcamera, Epitorium purpuleatum, influenzinum, camphor, hypersulf, and many more. Now I am just sharing my screen, one of the repertorial work that is being done by me, putting the common symptom of the COVID-19. Just see. Whether the screen is visible?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Just see. Whenever we have put few symptoms in different repertory, cane, complete repertory, non-repertory, etc., we are getting a group of medicine. First medicine came as per numerical totality, hypersulf, then pulsatilla, then arsenic, then nux vomica, then phosphorus, then aconite, then bryodia, then belladonna, then sulfur. Then what was Hahnemann's observation? Hahnemann advised, whenever due to faulty treatment, the first line of treatment is being anyhow jeopardized by homeopathic doctor, allopathic doctor, he advised only 2 medicine. One is hypersulf, another is sulfur. Just putting the common symptom, whatever we are getting in our daily practice, we also get the medicine hypersulf and sulfur in the repertorial work. A good number of patients, they are presenting with loss of taste and smell with COVID symptom. You just see the medicine hypersulf is a very good indication with loss of smell and loss of taste. Apart from that, later on, if I get time, I will discuss about the presenting manifestation of HIPAA solve, how it will help. Now I am presenting the case treated by me, few cases. The patient's name is Ranjit Das, aged about 69. He was found positive on 11 November 2020. And after getting only homeopathic treatment, he was recovered within few days, only about 15 or 16 days. It is a positive report and it is a negative report. Just I am running the video. Whatever he told in Bengali, I do like to translate it in English.
নমস্কার, আমি রঞ্জিত দাস। আমার বয়স
Whether it is audible, video is visible and audible.
গত 6 নভেম্বর
Audible, not, yes, visible.
Okay.
শরীর অসহ্য
He is Ranjit Das. He is telling he was suffering from body ache and severe pain. He was a known case of strong comorbidity of different disease and illness. And after getting all those symptoms, despite of having comorbidity, he was treated
যন্ত্রণা ছিল।
with homeopathic
পরের দিন
treatment.
থেকে আমি স্বাদ গন্ধ কিছুই পাচ্ছিলাম না। তখন
He was also telling he was rewarding of sense of smell and taste with all those symptoms.
ডাক্তার বিশ্বজিৎ বসুকে আমার শারীরিক অসুবিধা
And he is telling he was getting help from Dr. Biswajit Basu, and after getting homeopathic treatment, he was he recovered within 12 days with a negative report. Now I am presenting another case. Patient age is about 29, no comorbidity. The CT value was 29. And after getting homeopathic treatment, how he beautifully recovered. It is on the left side, we are getting the positive report. On the right side is negative report. Just I am running the video. He will tell in English about his illness.
Greetings. My name is Rupam Das. I am 29 years old. I am an employee of WBACDCL. On 2nd November, after having my lunch, I felt severe headache, and later on evening, my body temperature was started increasing, and it increased up to 103 degree Fahrenheit. Then I have consulted with Dr. Biswajit Basu, and he advised me to intake few doses of Pioneer 200. And next day, I feel better, but my body temperature was 100 degree Fahrenheit for throughout the day. On 6th November, I have completely lost my smelling senses, and then I tested and found COVID positive. As per doctor's advice, I had intake different doses of homeopathic medicines with healthy food and plenty amount of water. On 28th November, I retested and found COVID negative, but that time I felt very weak, and as per Dr. Basu's advice, I have to take good food with plenty amount of water, and at least for 4 or 5 weeks extra precaution. Now already 5 weeks closed. I am absolutely fine, and a special thanks to Dr. Biswajit Basu.
Actually, what happened after recovery from COVID-19, I was supposed to prescribe a single dose of sulfa 30, and getting sulfa 30, he was recovered beautifully with his weakness and appetite, all those things. Another case, the mother's case, that is also became negative within few days. I'm not giving detail. Now I am telling another case, Mrs. Shobha Datto of New Delhi, treated by one of our bar patron. He is staying as Delhi, and he is telling beautifully how her case was treated with homeopathic medicine and how she was cured.
Good evening. I'm Shobha Datta. My age is 50 years. On 24th, there was RT-PCR test in my office. So I went for the test, and 26th, I was informed that I'm COVID positive. Although initially I had no symptoms, but the moment I heard about COVID positive, I had anxiety. And evening I contacted Dr. Shubhankar Bhattacharya ji, As he knows my history, I had earlier some problems which were cured by him. So he advised me to take 2 pills of, to take Tuja 30, 4 pills with 5 strokes, empty stomach in a water solution, and repeat the same after 4 hours, only once. The same thing was repeated on 29th. And 3rd again, I went for test and my report came as negative.
So I'm happy to share the cases before you, few cases, how beautifully homeopathy medicine is effective for COVID-19. The medicine which I have prescribed, mostly used during my practice for last about 1 year, I am giving few prescribing symptoms favoring those. For arsenic album, there are lots of symptoms we are getting in homeopathic Medimedica, but the symptom commonly I get, first is prostration. Great prostration with rapid sinking of the vital force. First symptom. The second is almost all patients, they're very much restless but indifferent to life. Fear of death, but thinks it is useless to take medicine. And almost all arsenic patients, they become very much anxious with great anxiety. One thing is very important for arsenic thirst. We know arsenic patients, they are thirsty, having unquenchable thirst. But in arsenic patient, whatever I told earlier, we should consider the symptom during chill, during heat, and during heat stage. The characteristic thirst of arsenic, generally little if any thirst during chill, then prefers hot drinks. So during chill stage of fever, patients, those who are suffering from COVID-19 or any other disease, during chill stage of fever, they prefer hot drinks. And concomitants of chill, commonly we are getting colic and nausea, diarrhea, unconsciousness, drawing and tearing pain in lips, and thigh feels as if beaten, cramps and contraction in the chest. During heat stage, the hot stage of fever is intense and long lasting. For arsenic, the hot stage of fever is intense and long lasting. Burning heat and pungent to the touch and inclination to uncover. Generally, we know arsenic patient wants covering. And during heat stage of arsenic patient, having inclination to uncover. Regarding sweat stage, the sweat stage is variable as that of chill with unquenchable thirst for large quantities of cold water. So, in arsenic patient, in chill stage, they prefer lukewarm water, but during sweat stage, they prefer cold water. These are the things we should consider whenever we are selecting remedy for any disease. Now I am telling few symptoms of bryonia, whatever I have clinically repeatedly verified for COVID patient. First of all is dry cough. Disease COVID-19 mostly initiated with dry cough. Great thirst for large quantities of water, irritable, desire to lie down, headache, pain all over the limbs. Another important things, the mental modification commonly we are getting in bryonia patient. Out of 10, about 6 to 7 patients, they become very much apprehensive. Apprehensive about future. Regarding especially money, most of the bryonia patients, those who are earning member of their family, especially male patients, what I observe, they become very much apprehensive and talks of business, concerned about survival and tendency to hard work, fears poverty. After my COVID attack, if I will die, what will be the condition of my family, whether I will work again, whether I will earn money again. Regarding all those things, they become very much anxious. Apart from that, fear of death, full of fear and despair of recovery and great despondency. When warm weather sets in after cold days, from cold drinks, ice in hot weather, after taking cold and getting heated in summer, from exposure to damp and cold air. Fever caused by also getting wet, not only rash talks, bryonia will act very good. The pains are stitching, tearing, worse at night, greatly aggravates by motion, amelioration by rest, you all know. Then the important symptom, we are getting excessive dryness of the mucous membrane of entire body. Leaves, tongues dry, parched, cracked, stool dry. The children, those who are suffering from COVID-19, they dislike to be carried, dislike to be raised, and cannot sit up from nausea and faintness. During chill stage, mostly, bryonia patients are quiet and quiet, calm and quiet, but with great thirst for large quantities of cold water, which affords relief. But during heat stage, with increased thirst, same cough with pruritic stitches as in the chill, increased headache and vertigo and pain in limbs. Heat continued, more fever in one room than in the open air. Aggravation of all the suffering during the heat. Heat with desire to uncover. Now the sweat stage of bryonia is very characteristic. Profuse, sour, oily sweat. In selected case, you may get sweat in different stages. Even during chill, even during heat, you will get cold perspiration in bryonia patient. And perspiration from slightest exertion. Another important objective finding you may get in bryonia patient, shies during sweating, and stretching, like Rastox, like Ignatia. During apyrexia, all symptoms of this stage are characteristic, should be carefully treated, but during apyrexia in bryonia patient, the main symptom, the key symptom commonly we met is the gastric derangement, constipation, dyspepsia, loss of appetite, bitter taste in mouth. When fever is caused by getting wet, occipital cephalgia, preceded by rheumatic pain in muscles of the whole body, loss of appetite, eating a mouthful suffices, rotatory vertigo, redness of the face, and thirst in all stages of paroxysm, bryonia will act, bryonia will cure, bryonia will recover the patient. Now I am telling few symptoms from pulsatilla, fear of death during fever. Apart from that, from the very initial stage of the disease, they may have trouble of dividing of sense of smell and sense of taste is being diminished in pulsatilla and with thirstlessness. We all know the pulsatilla patient is generally thirstless, but in pulsatilla, we are also getting patient at thirst. If we observe patient very carefully, during heat stage, the patient is thirsty. The heat stage of the pulsatilla is very characteristic. Intolerable burning like arsenic. During heat stage of pulsatilla, they are complaining of burning, especially in both lower limbs, looks like burning. Dry heat of the body in the evening with distended veins and burning hands and a seek out for when heat follows the chilliness, it will be a sensation of heat with no objective one. When pulsatilla patient is complaining, I am getting heat, internal heat, I am feeling very burning. But if you examine the patient with your hand, you will not get no such objective one. Now I am telling few symptoms from Rastox. Patient is generally chilly in nature. Symptoms develop slowly, very restless and dreadful with rancor and discouragement. Pain and malaise with fever, irritating, tormenting cough. Not dry cough like bryonia, annoying, tormenting cough aggravation from cold exposure. And having a peculiar feeling of irritation behind the sternum. I am getting some irritation behind the sternum. Soreness of the throat as if scratched with at least a degree of hoarseness. So in Rastox, from the very initial phase, we are getting patient is chilly, patient is getting pain all over the pain of body and soreness in the throat with hoarseness and white coated margin and red triangular teeth we also get. Apart from that, the characteristic thirst is very important in Rastox. Whatever water they drink, whatever water they take, despite of taking water, they are not feeling good or comfortable as a bryonia patient feels comfortable after taking water. Despite of taking water, always they are feeling some dryness and dryness in the throat. Now I am telling, not the last but the least, the another medicine, what I have prescribed in a few cases, the beautiful and remarkable result. Those patients, those who are come from the modern school of medicine, after getting ventilation support, after getting steroids, after getting antibiotics, despite of all, a few patients would not recover during their domiciliary care after follow-up of the treatment. And the patient, those who are having still continuing with chilliness and fever, the characteristic symptoms of herpes is profuse sweat, and profuse sweat, day and night. Patient was otherwise recovered with antibiotic and steroids in allopathic medication. But the allopathic doctor said, fever may continue for 1 month. Don't worry. Don't consider fever as a symptom. The patient is suffering from trouble. Hello? Are you getting? Hello? 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 So in Hypersol, we are getting characteristic perspiration, profuse sweat day and night without significant relief from slightest mental exertion, from slightest physical exertion, cannot tolerate being covered. An offensive odor, along with loss of smell, taste, and coryza. Hello? 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 Only 1 or 2 minutes will take to conclude my speech. Only 1 or 2 minutes. So now I do like to conclude my today's session with special thanks to Professor Dr. Akhilesh Khan and the organizer for giving me the opportunity. I am also once again giving emphasis to the homeopathic doctors, homeopathic fraternity and my colleagues. Don't be ashamed, don't be panicky with second wave, third wave and mutation of virus. We are having lots of symptoms in our Matremedica. If we collect symptoms properly from our patients, whatever mutation takes place in virus, if we consider the heat stage, chill stage, sweat stage, and apyrexia stage of fever, along with concomitant symptoms and modalities, we safely prescribe homeopathic medicine and will save lots of life in COVID-19. Thanks all of you for your patient sharing. Thanks once again.
Dr. Biswajit,
Yes,
you hear
yes.
me?
Yes, yes.
You may continue our next speaker, Dr. Sukul has not joined till now, and Dr. Ajit Kulkarni will join at 1 p.m. sharp. So you please continue for some time because there are some questions you may reply.
Okay. I will just give answer.
I entertain the question.
That is very good. That is very good.
Dr. Ajit Kulkarni has confirmed that he will join at 1 and Sukul has not joined. And so let me contact with Dr. Sukul. Okay.
One question come from Dr. Nandini Thambare. Sir, which medicine is to give in asymptomatic positive cases? A very good question. If there is no symptom, we are not supposed to prescribe. Generally, we know that thing. But just in the initial part of my lecture, I have quoted from Hahnemann's writing. We should consider SORA from the initial development of the symptoms. So, whenever any patient is suffering from COVID-19 positive case without any presenting symptom, as we are getting in different patients, we should consider the physical genetics and mental genetics of the patient, and accordingly, whatever antisoric medicine is to be required, that should be prescribed. Otherwise, you may also prescribe bryonia, arsenic, Rastock, Gersemium, just considering one or few symptoms if the patient complains. Sometimes it may happen, some patient telling that I am having no complaint. But if we inquire properly, patient may have not suffer from fever, patient may not have suffering from cough, but patient may have suffering from loss of taste, loss of smell, or simple loss of appetite. Considering the physical and mental genetics, in those cases, if we prescribe sulfur 31 dose, the patient will recover without any complication. Apart from that, few patients may come with at your chamber or at your disposal without any presenting manifestation as per patient consideration. We should consider the case very minutely. If we get any causation, if we get any concomitant, considering that also, we may prescribe medicine. Any other question? If have, I may ready to answer.
Dr. Biswaj, Siddharth Mukherjee, it is not question. He has just mentioned thing that discussion about homeopathy subject, his contribution is science.
Okay. Dr. Siddhartha Mukherjee told today is the Master Hahnemann birthday. Think that discussion about homeopathy subject and his contribution in his science. Actually, throughout the day, whatever we are doing today or throughout the year, whatever we are doing, whatever we are thinking, whatever we are going through, whatever we are illustrating, everything is a contribution of Master Hahnemann. One thing I am very much delighted to share you. Just day before yesterday, I am going through a few letters and writings from Hahnemann. I am just giving one point. Apart from homeopathic philosophy, homeopathic science, Mathematica Pura, and all those things, Hahnemann advises few words for homeopathic physician regarding lifestyle of homeopathic doctors. He advised, do comfortably, live comfortably, don't be hurry. He advised, if you like to serve people for a longer period of time, do homeopathy comfortably. Do homeopathy calm and quietly, and do homeopathy with your rational attitude. Don't be hasty. Don't be hasty. The beautiful writing he wrote to Dr. Stepp, one of his beloved disciples. One thing we should consider, at least we should remember in Hahnemann's birthday, what Hahnemann actually expressed his grief in the preface of Chronic Disease. He said, the few of my contemporaries may comprehend the logical thinking of my teaching. Hahnemann was very much confused and was in grief. During his period, few contemporary may comprehend his logical teaching of homeopathy. So, being a homeopathic physician, especially on Hahnemann's birthday, we should think over, we should retrospect ourselves, whatever we are doing in our daily practice, whether we are treating acute patients, whether we are treating chronic patients, whether we are tackling epidemic situation, whether we are following master's advice in particular, in general, for the betterment of the society, betterment of the mankind. Apart from that, repeatedly I am requesting all of you just to go through Hahnemann's letter. Hahnemann in his letter emphasized what are the common errors homeopathic physicians do in their daily practice and how it can be prevented. Another question came from, once again from Dr. Nandiri. Can we distribute arsenic as immunobooster in the second wave in same dose as from the before? It's a beautiful question. Most of my disciples and students, they are also asking the question for last 1 month. One thing is very important. Don't be biased. Don't be prejudiced. Till date, Government of India, Health Ministry, Ayush Department did not publish any advisory regarding immune booster. And regarding second wave, what will be the duty and what will be our performance towards the community is not being determined by Ayush yet. But I do like to share you with the logic of homeopathy and with the logic of Hahnemann. After getting the second wave, after emerging the third wave, whatever wave comes, you just consider the acute totality of different patients. And considering the totality, arsenic may come, even Bryonia may come, or any other medicine may come. Unless or until we are getting any new advisory from Government of India, Ayush Ministry for second wave, considering the manifestation, considering the presenting totality, we should go forward to the epidemic disease with the presenting manifestation and presenting totality. Along with, we should remind Hahnemann's advice, the immune booster or the genus epidemicus, whatever we are prescribing, whatever we are administering for our patients, will not act in different conditions. In few conditions, that conditions will be taken under consideration. Patient, those who are otherwise healthy before the epidemic, they will be covered with genus epidemicus or immune booster. But those who are suffering from any developed SORA or any developed chronic disease, or in terms of modern medicine, those who are suffering from any, or those who are having any strong comorbidity, in those cases, constitutional anti-miasmatic medicine would be administered as per particular individual patient and individual person. I am requesting all of you to prescribe medicine for the person who is suffering from any trouble, and whenever you are not getting any manifestation to any patient, continue the patient with your old therapy, old constitutional treatment, anti-miasmatic treatment. Whenever he or she is presenting with any symptoms or any manifestation, consider both heat stage, chill stage, sweat stage, apyrexia stage, and the general effect of the acute disease with the constitution, if any, that should be considered. Sometimes what is happening, whenever we are getting a patient with fear of death and burning, we think of arsenic. But fear of death with burning in palms, burning in legs, with subjective hotness, and during apyrexia, patient having no fear of death, the pulsatilla would be the remedy, not arsenic. Likewise, for every case, minute detail of the patient should be taken for prescription and follow-up. Anything else? Any question from anyone?
Dr. Basu,
Yes, yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes, audible.
What would be the approach of treatment of the asymptomatic cases? What would be the approach of treatment of asymptomatic cases? What the other pathy calling that it is asymptomatic, what the World Health Organization is telling these are asymptomatic. Being a homeopath, how will approach such cases? When there is a positive, but the asymptomatic, but what will be the approach of the treatment as per our philosophy and our science?
Already I have discussed in a nutshell. Once again, I am repeating.
Please repeat one.
In asymptomatic cases, first of all, we should consider whatever thing, whatever things they are telling the patient is asymptomatic as per their consideration. They have put some symptoms and they are considering this symptom is not presenting with this patient, so they are asymptomatic. Whether the patient is truly asymptomatic or not, that should be determined first. In selected case, we may get not any particular symptom of COVID-19 with a COVID positive patient, but in a COVID positive patient, there will be some general modification in mind, general modification in physics. Simply, a COVID positive patient having no other symptom, only strong aversion to get bath and became very much lethargic, no other symptom. They are considering this patient as asymptomatic. But if we consider the patient, we may safely prescribe antisodic medicine sulfur 30, and then patient will be recovered, not only recovered, patient will be free from any complication in further stage. Another thing we should consider from homeopathic approach, if there are, truly there are no symptom, no modification in mental and physical generals, if the patient is known to us and being treated with any other anti-miasmatic constitutional medicine, we should reconsider and rethink. As the virus is being inoculated or being infected without any manifestation in the economy, but as the patient is suffering from any developed SORA or any soric stage is flaring up, combining with those symptoms, later on patient may suffer. So In those cases, under which medicine the patient was treated, that should be reconsidered whether time is ready, the time is now to repeat the
Hello.
medicine or any other complementary medicine may be required to combat the situation
No, no,
underlying the
only to
manifestation, what is happening.
www.bahola/WHD7 আমি যেটা পাঠিয়েছি হ্যাঁ বাহো ডট
Are you getting me?
Sorry, it was unread, yeah. So we've got another question.
Another question from Dr. Priya. Sir, can you comment on topic of vaccination and homeopathic medicine role in patients who have fever and body ache for more than 2 days and they want relief? Topic of vaccination and homeopathic medicine role in patients who have fever and body ache for more than 2 days, they want relief. Perhaps Dr. Priya is asking, after getting vaccinated, if anyone is suffering from fever for 2 days or body ache, what will be our scope or what will be our approach? Whether she is asking in that line. Topic of vaccination or homeopathic medicine role in patients who have fever. If anyone, after getting vaccinated, develop fever and body ache, generally, whatever they are telling actually, generally it will be abated within 2 to 3 days. After getting vaccination, if anyone is suffering and it may be continued for a few days and it is getting some discomfort, we may consider those patients. In those cases also, we should consider the cause and effect of the cause point of view. In selected case, the thuja will act. In selected case, sulfur will act. Just in this relation, I would like to share one point. During Hahnemann's time, when the vaccination was done with smallpox vaccination, Hahnemann was asked by few disciples, what will be our role regarding vaccination and all those things. Hahnemann advised beautiful thing. And what I have got in Hahnemann's Life and Works, Richard Hill, first time I am sharing on here, the thing is a very beautiful thing he advised. He advised before vaccination, if there is no symptom, to combat the bad consequences SORA with vaccination, you may prescribe, he advised typically clearly, you may prescribe sulfa 30 for successive 2 days and go for vaccination. I do not know, and I am suggesting Government of India, CCRAs, if they conduct any project, those people, those who are getting vaccinated, before vaccination, if they took sulfa 32 doses for successive 2 days and get vaccinated, and rest of the patient, those who are not taking sulfa 30, what will be the result, what will be the outcome. But Hahnemann advised beautifully, during the then time, what will be the role of homeopathic physician before and during vaccination. Anything else? Perhaps there is no question now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Dr. Basu? Dr. Basu?
Yes.
In aphorism 56 and 46, footnote 6th edition, he supported Jenner's vaccination.
Yes, yes.
He
In his
supported
writings,
Jenner's
in his writings also.
Universal distribution of the Jenner's vaccination. The present generation do not know the disease ragging around 50 years, 40 years back.
Yes.
So initially he supported it, and owing to that, the smallpox was that was eradicated.
Yes.
That helped a lot for that.
Yes.
So what do you think in these questions? Because whenever you are finding the bad effects of vaccination and others, being a homeopath, rational homeopath, go through the vaccination or not? As an academician, what you will say? Whether a rational homeopath will go through the vaccination or not?
Yes.
The question is, there are two questions. Number one question is the legal laws at the law of the rule of the nation, country. Another is the ethics of our philosophy and the science. There are two. Is there any contradiction? Whether you will follow by following the aphorism 56 and 46 6th edition initially in this present situation or not, or we'll encourage our young generations to take the vaccinations, or whether we will always say about the bad effects of vaccination, bad effects of vaccination. These are happening, these are happening. But what will be the rational approach of as a homeopath in this crucial situation?
Thank you.
Because a lot of people in social media,
Yes.
in Facebook, you'll find they are always criticizing the sides of the vaccination and others. But what will be the rational approach? As a homeopath, as an academician, as a teacher of homeopathy institution, I like to put down this question before you, Dr. Basu.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Actually, the things should be taken very seriously. The vaccination, which is now continuing in our country, as per my knowledge is concerned, with the fact sheet of the so-called vaccine, what is being vaccinated to the people, considering the fact sheet, the vaccine is yet to be improved. It is under preparation, under observation. So, whenever any vaccine is under observation, under preparation, people should volunteer, people should take it, but considering it is another part, whether we should take vaccination during trial procedure or not. But appreciating the magnitude of the pandemic disease, vaccination will be carried out. Another thing is very important. The vaccine is prepared from a particular strain, particular RNA of COVID-19 virus. But the wave, second wave is, third wave is due to the mutated virus. So as per the knowledge of immunology, whether the vaccine which is being administered to all peoples, whether it will be effective for second wave or third wave, that is very important question. The scientific world should answer this question with the people. If they answer correctly and rationally, yes, this vaccine will cover all the mutation of genes of virus COVID-19 for another 1 year or 2 years. It is not possible to say or declare. But regarding adverse effect of vaccination, whatever data and documents we are getting till date, statistically it is not too much significant regarding recent adverse effect. But the remote adverse effect of vaccination out of COVID vaccine, whatever it will take place, to get all the information, it will take time of at least 3 to 5 years. But once again, I am telling, appreciating the magnitude of the infection, communicability of the disease, and life and death problem, the vaccination, whatever Hahnemann advised, we are also supposed to advise in that manner, considering the severity of the disease, considering the severity of the pandemic. We should not condemn vaccination. We should not encourage people not to take vaccine. But one thing I got that I have shared just immediately before, at least the homeopathic doctors, those who are shaky to be vaccinated and those who are afraid of being adverse effect of vaccination due to combination of SORA and psychosis, underlying SORA with the vaccine, they may take sulfa 30 for 2 successive doses before taking the vaccination. What Hahnemann advised during smallpox vaccination time. Thank Thank you.
Okay, another question. In case of the asymptomatic cases, can you hear me? Dr.
Yes,
Basu?
yes.
In case of the asymptomatic cases, Kamal Chandra, please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself, Kamal Chandra. Kamal Chandra, who is Kamal Chandra? Kamal Chandra. In case of asymptomatic case, can you prescribe a dose of opium? Just in case of the one-sided disease, you gave a dose of opium for the secondary counteraction. Should you go through this?
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, in asymptomatic cases, the medicine which will be prescribed, that should be rational. Opium having a peculiar manifestation, complaining nothing. But generally, whatever we are getting in our daily practice, a patient having some peculiar pathology under consideration, but patient subjectively not complaining the thing. In those cases, opium is very effective. In selected case, Thuja will be very much effective in asymptomatic cases. Having the psychotic component of the person getting infected with COVID-19, all symptom is being hidden out of the psychotic component. In those cases, which considering few perspiration or all those things, we may prescribe Thuja, we may prescribe opium. But at the same time, once again, I am repeating, if we do not get any symptom from the patient, we do not consider any prescribed in totality, we may continue the old medicine or reconsider the old medicine, what has been prescribed for his constitutional treatment. That will help.
Okay, you have some question in the chat box. Dr. Bhoishali, due respect to sir, have you taken the vaccination? If yes, which and if no, why? Dr. Sonal Patel, post-COVID palpitation. Nandini Thombre, how to deal with the post-COVID weakness? Any mother tincture is will helpful. So we may go through this question. Reply,
Okay.
please, Dr. Basu.
Post-COVID palpitation and remedy. Sonali Patel. Once again, I am telling, just consider one or few symptoms for prescription and just do not consider any suggestion from this platform as a tips for homeopathic prescription. Palpitation, along with palpitation, consider all the symptoms whatever is presented by the patients. And considering all, just Yersinia will act. In selected case, Calcarea ars will act. In selected case, Arnica will act. So, just putting one or two symptom palpitation in post-COVID case is not sufficient enough for selecting any remedy. Another question from Nandini, how to deal with post-COVID weakness? No other thing, you just already I have told. In post-COVID weakness, one of my patients already in video, he told beautifully, after getting few homeopathic pills, he was recovered and the report was negative. But after that, he was very much prostrated and weak, and considering his constitutional symptom, I prescribed sulfur 30 and getting that he was recovered. In selected case, Sorinam was very much effective. In selected case, Thuja was very much effective. In selected case, Ars Iode was very much effective. So there is no single remedy I am supposed to suggest you for post-COVID weakness. Post-COVID weakness with presenting symptoms is very much important. I have no experiment with mother tincture for last my 33 years experience. So I am very sorry to share my experience with mother tincture in different cases. Once a question from Vaishali Bhagat. Due respect to you, sir, have you taken the vaccination? If yes, which and what? Actually, this is not the proper platform to ask this question, a personal question to anybody. Regarding vaccination, the principle, the logic, the rationale, all detail I have told. Now, on your part, you take decision what you like to do. Anything else? Dr. Khan, are you getting me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
My viewers, please wait. Another speaker will join soon, Dr. Sonirban Sukul.
Okay, okay, okay.
And Dr. Rojit Kulkarni join. After joining, I will inform all of you. Then you please continue with Dr. Onival Sukun has joined, co-host.
Yes, doctor. He's
So Dr. Basu,
Really,
my
it's
question,
my
very
great
simple
pleasure.
question.
Really, it's my great pleasure.
As a simple person, I have only very simple question. And always we are telling that please follow the advisory of the government in respect of the homeopathic treatment, whether arsenic or with medicine. Does it contrary to the our philosophy and organoid medicine others? The actual philosophy, what we teach in our to our students through organoid medicine and Mathemedica, and the one side is the advisory of the government to giving some advices. Does it make some contradiction? Which one will we are telling something in our class, and sometimes we are following. Sometimes we are following as per the government, as if it is a statutory warning. Now it is becoming a statutory warning for the whether we will apply the homeopathy in organoid medicine or not. Like a smoking. So my question is that, is it contradiction too? What you feel?
Actually, what is happening, it is the law of the land we should abide by. As the government is giving some advisory, but it should be at par homeopathic principle. Whenever any advisory is being published from Government of India and Department of Ministry and Department of Ayush Ministry or Central Council Research in Homeopathy, whatever that may be, we should think over the people who are conducting those things and who are giving the advisory. They should be very much rational. Actually, the government of India or any government is very much blind about the particular science and mode of therapy. The people who are representing on behalf of us before the government or in the platform of government policies, they should be very much cautious, and they should take advice and suggestion from different clinicians and different hospitals, those who are following Hahnemannian principles and doing well. Then only there will be no contradiction. Otherwise, always there will be some contradiction, but as we are living in a country, we should abide by the law of the land.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Still, the debate and contradiction will continue in spite of all sorts of endeavor taken by our homeopathic physicians and the government. There is a difference between whether the academicians are there or not, or the clinicians are there or not. Why they are doing research in the vitro or vivo, there is a question. I'm not going through that.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Basu. Thank you, Biswajit.
Thank all of you. And it really is a very pleasure for me to be with you for last 1 hour with exhaustive discussion and brainstorming discussion. Especially, it's my pleasure getting question from the learned homeopathic doctor, Professor Akhilesh Khan also.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Please stay with us. In future also we will organize different for this view or with you, because there is a demand amongst the students. Sir, please again.
I will attend. It will be my pleasure.
Invite Dr. Basu for a special 1 day.
Okay. So it will be my pleasure. It will be my pleasure.
Many teachers with Mathemedica and clinical
cases. Sure. It will be
you.
pleasure. Okay, bye.
Now, my students and viewers, so many people have joined from abroad and also different part of the country.
It's a pleasure for me.
Okay, I think we are only 1 minute late. And another next speaker, Dr. Subhasis Ganguly, he just informed him that he will speak in afternoon hours instead of Dr. Subhamoy Ghosh, Dr.